this tournament, the 6-seeded Friars of Providence. So how do we get here to this spot? Well, yesterday Creighton came in not having lost a game in the tournament. It's double elimination in this Big East tournament. So Creighton goes in against UConn, and although they fell behind early, Kenzie Schofer was pretty good in the circle. Only allowed 2 runs in 4 innings. But then Brooklyn Patchen came in, and the UConn offensive juggernaut got rolling again. They would score 10 of the final 11 in the game and run rule Creighton 10-1. On the other side, for Providence in a winner, regular could go roomy, good on base. And Alyssa back to that circle today for a Providence team that has a lot of pixie dust in their back pocket right now. Evan Stockton, Gigi Spear with the rest of our great crew. Welcome back to Villanova. And Gigi, it's pretty simple. Does the magic carpet ride for Providence continue, or does a Creighton team that had won 10 in a row until they lost yesterday get another shot at UConn later today?
So simple, but also such big dreams, and which team can have a shorter memory? I think that's what it comes down to. For Providence, it's not remembering, okay, we did everything so good, let's just coast on that. It's turning things around and being ready to go today, adjusting pitch to pitch. And for Creighton, it's, we only got 3 hits yesterday. We have to string things together. We have to score.
Head coach Krista Wood put Sydra Seville right back at the top. Sydra Seville yesterday with the single set the single season hits record for any woman who's ever played softball at Creighton. As you were talking about, Gigi, Creighton held in that game against UConn early yesterday because the pitching from Schofer was pretty good overall, but the offense was just not consistently there. They went innings at a time without getting a hit, and now they're facing a red-hot pitcher in the circle in Alyssa Toomey. If you're Creighton having to face Alyssa, who's got about as much confidence the size of this Villanova campus right now, how are you trying to get to it?
Attack the screwball. That's Toomey's best pitch. If you can stay off the plate a little bit to free up the inside part of the plate for your right-handed hitters, and then for your left-handed hitters, crowd a little bit so you can reach it, that's the way that you could get on Toomey early. But what impressed me about her, only 1 walk yesterday against a great hitting team. So how can Toomey bounce back today and do even better?
Spotting the title game on the line. Off we go from Villanova. You know, the thing, Gigi, that got me with Alyssa Toomey was last night we had the chance to speak with Providence's pitcher after the game, and great big smile, and she just kept talking about, let's just keep rolling the dice out there and keep playing. Let's just see how far we can take this thing. And it's a strong start for Creighton. Sydra Seville, base hit to left.
There you see Toomey working in back towards the zone, but after a first pitch ball, she let the ball hang over the plate a little bit, and that's something that you can't do for Seville. Another thing here, Seville stays with that. She slaps it over to the 5-6 hole. That's perfect piece of hitting for a lefty hitter.
The record-setting season continues for Seville. Watch her on the base paths, 20 stolen bases. Ashton Pearson at the plate, co-Big East Defensive Player of the Year, 0 for 1 against UConn yesterday.
We didn't really see much out of this 1-2 punch yesterday, so I'd like to see how they move the runners around and see if Seville takes off now.
They'll drop down a bunt. That is well done! Oh, and they're going to make the turn for third and get there! What a heads-up play by Seville! No one was covering third!
That's that Creighton Blue Jay identity coming out early, causing chaos, and executing. A little bobble there by the Providence defense on a sacrifice bunt that turned into a base hit. And what body control by Pearson to not let it touch her body, otherwise she would have been out. And then nice heads-up base running by Seville, showing off the wheels.
And a big roar at third. Lily West, your batter. Off to second goes Pearson. And Alyssa Toomey, who left 9 St. John's batters and runners on base last night, got to find a way to do it again in the top of the first.
She should trust that confidence, know that she did it against a great hitting team, and she could do it again today.
Well located. And 0-2 on West. Billy went 0 for 2 against UConn last night, did walk, and drove in a run. Lily West, a junior from Choctaw, Oklahoma, GG, against Alyssa Toomey, who's about 20 minutes away from the Providence campus. Pilgrim High grad, trying to get Willie West. Wildis drop in center. Lee makes the catch, but Seville's tagging and scoring. And Creighton's on the board first.
There's so many ways to score runners, and that's one way to do it, is just to elevate it to the outfield. Toomey's such a spinny ball there, and that's why West couldn't get much on it, but she gives herself up to score a runner. That's great execution, and that's showing a lot on how Creighton is able to reset after not hitting well at all yesterday. Even if it doesn't reflect it in the amount of hits, the fact that they got on early is already a different start.
Schultz check swing, land a foul down that first base line. You know, if you're Providence though here, right, you have multiple runners on and nobody out. If you can find a way, if you're Toomey, to escape this inning with just the one run, it's not the end of the world this early in the game. One and one here on Schultz.
It's not the end of the world, because also you learn that you can trust your offense to score right now. We saw some light-up hitting by Providence, who ended up beating the #1 seeded St. John's. So as defense, yeah, you got to relax a little bit and just execute the play when the ball comes to you.
Didn't catch that inside corner. 1 and 2.
I think Toomey's picking up some confidence right there. She's one of those players that plays best loose, and as a hitter, she's really hard to face when she's having fun and her pitch is working like that screwball is.
Where are you looking here on the 2-2?
I think that Toomey should try and trust her best stuff early. Against Schultz, that's really hard because she can turn on the ball and she's looking to pull it, but I'd go with that screwball here.
Schultz stays alive. Galen Schultz and Sydney Potter have crushed the softball this year for Creighton. That is quite the dynamic duo in the 4 and 5 spot here today.
It's so great when you're a 5-hitter, when you have a great hitter in front of you, because then you're forcing a pitcher to pitch to 2 great hitters back to back.
That ball ripped and fair down the line. Pearson scores. Schultz again. RBI double, 2-0 Blue Jays.
Creighton is making the most of any single little miss by Toomey. Toomey was working off the plate. She didn't want Schultz to be able to touch it, but this one, she hangs it over the plate just a little bit. And Schultz doing what she does, turning on the ball. And how about that, just right on the line, too? I love hits like that.
And now Alyssa Toomey getting a quick talking to in the circle as that Creighton dugout is already amped up. We talk a lot about Providence's confidence right now, coming in, riding this magic carpet ride. But, Gigi, we see this in any sport, right? Where you're a Cinderella. If you can get to Cinderella early and put a little doubt in their mind, like Creighton is doing right now, all of a sudden, all that confidence the Friars had is starting to dip a little bit here.
It could. But you do have one of the most legendary softball players in history coming up to talk to them in Coach Alvello. Great career at University of Washington for herself. A solid pitcher. She had 300 strikeouts in a single season. Like something unimaginable.
Yeah.
So when you have that confidence, she told me before the game that she's been coaching them a lot on mindset in this past week, trying to trickle down that winning mentality to them.
Krista Wood's team off to a solid start. The head coach for Creighton in her 3rd year. Let's not forget that this Creighton program, runner-up in the Big East in both the regular season and the tournament last year. They win today, and they got UConn later today. Took something off that one, and a big swing and a miss.
It might be One of the best things when you go out to talk to your team as a pitching coach and then the pitcher immediately turns things around to me back-to-back, trusting her rise ball. Sydney Potter's bat, though, if she gets a piece of it, this ball can fly.
One and two. Single, bunt single, sac fly, RBI, and RBI double. And 2 runs, 4 batters in for Creighton. And a powerful one at the plate. Foul ground, first base side, and we'll do it again.
Potter showing what makes good hitters great, and that's having many pitches that you could turn on and get some barrel on, but also the ability to foul balls off that you don't like and waste them, because then you're forcing a pitcher who went 5 innings yesterday to pitch even more to you.
Got to corner that time. Artistry on the inside corner from Toomey.
Toomey's confidence is growing throughout this season, and there she goes. That's that strikeout pitch. It's so hard to read. You think it's a ball, especially because she's working that outside part of the plate early on, but then it tails back in on you. Great screwball strikeout pitch.
Erica Perez taken high for a ball. Hits in each of the last 2 games in this Big E tournament for Erica. Singled against UConn last night. Also walked and struck out. The hitters count here.
And for Creighton, they don't want to slow down. 2 on the board is not enough. They have revenge, and they want to play 2 games today. But to do that, they have to keep tacking them on, and Erica Perez is a key for their offense, because not only can she hit, but she can get on and draw walks and be creative.
This is turning into a bit of a labor of love in this top of the first inning for Alyssa Toomey. We're over 20 pitches here.
And the Creighton hitters are staying patient. Perez, such a good eye. She doesn't like that one. She leaves it up in the zone. She's looking for something that she can attack on the inside part of her plate.
Yesterday, Alyssa Toomey, although she went those 5 innings scoreless, the pitch count was elevated because she had to leave a lot of St. John's runners on base. Nearly threw 100 pitches in the game and left 9 on base. Trying to get out of the first here. Erica Perez works a walk. 2 runners back on base for Creighton.
100 pitches in one game. Any young pitcher watching, you know that that's a lot, but you love moments like this because you want to get that assignment to start the game and be able to have some adversity early on in the game and bounce back, because then you just get to refine things. Sometimes you can look at those reps as ways to get better rather than kind of ways to hurt your arm, you know?
And a Poole pops it up. And Creighton's got to settle for the 2 in the first. The big blow of the inning, the Kaylin Schultz RBI double. Lily West knocked one in with a sac fly RBI. And Creighton looking good early. Villanova University. It's kind of the center of the universe right now. I heard a rumor that an alumnus of this school got a pretty important job promotion the other day. Gorgeous day for softball here on the main line. Creighton off to the early 2-0 lead. But this is a challenge for Brooklyn Patchen in the circle against a Providence lineup, GG, that You know, there may be spots where the traditional home run power isn't there, but we saw it last night against St. John's. 1 through 9, they are a nuisance.
And they pass the bat so well. You look at these averages. So many of these batters can get on base, and what really impressed me yesterday was Elissa Smith, because she's that spark. And even if Gabby Lee doesn't get on and do her job as a leadoff hitter, Providence can swing the momentum back in their favor because they have so many batters who could get on base and pass the bat to each other.
So many athletes talk about mental reset from game to game, moment to moment. Brooklyn Patchen has to do that, Gigi, because last night she comes into a 2-0 game. She's pitching in relief, and she promptly gets tagged by UConn for 8 runs on 6 hits in relief. Huskies hit 3 home runs off Brooklyn. So if you had to be her in the circle today, how are you trying to forget what happened like 16 hours ago?
Evan, I'm happy I don't have to be her, you know? I think that this is one of those assignments that's so tough because she also pitched well. It's just UConn could hit so well yesterday. They were seeing the ball like it was a beach ball, but Patchen is one of those mentally resilient players. That's one thing that she prides herself on, and Coach Wood says that they've worked on a lot together. So I'm not surprised that she got the assignment and has the ball in her hands today.
But high to lead, and a 3-1 count.
And I think for Patchen, too, it's now, okay, we have 2 runs of cushion to deal with. So as a pitcher, it makes you go out there and pitch a little bit more freely. And even here, giving up the walk, let's see how Patchen bounces back and continues to attack the pitches that work for her and causes batters to swing on the ball and put the ball in play.
This is not an easy assignment with Elissa Smith coming to the plate last night against St. John's. And this is a compliment. She was downright annoying. Her stat line was something. She goes 2 for 2 at the plate. She singles, she triples, she drives in a run, she scores a couple of runs, and she also dropped down a sac bunt.
That's the one thing I wanted to mention, too. She was so hot at the plate, but then she's also playing selfless ball and ready to give herself up. So you see there, she's going for the slap, and we'll see if she tries to bunt here.
Another strike on the corner, and now she's down 0-2.
One thing about Smith, she's more than a traditional slapper. She's also comfortable setting up in the box so she can swing away and put some power on the ball.
Talked about this a little bit yesterday when Providence beat St. John's. The top of the lineup between Lee and Smith is speed to burn. This one hard hit and back up the box for a knock. Just past Pearson. You gotta hit it hard to get it past the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Friars in business again.
That's why Smith has a near 400 batting average. She didn't let the 0-2 count get to her. Sometimes, especially with slappers, if that's the only 2 in their arsenal, they're not approaching an 0-2 count comfortably, but that's something Smith does well. And now Providence, their team identity of the 1-2 punch on is working.
And what were we just talking about? Top half of the first inning. This Cinderella run for Providence. You wondered if the confidence dips a little bit because Creighton gets off to the early lead. They get a run or 2 here, they're fine.
They're fine, and then they could capitalize on that momentum. There's something about tournament time. We talk about things that happen in sports you can't really explain. And for us, we always called it the softball gods. Gods were working in your favor or not. And for Providence, you want to just stay tapped into that kind of mentality that things are working and you got to have fun and stay loose.
Season has turned around for Cameron Dunn in the last week. From April 11th to May 3rd, last Saturday, she was 0 for 17. Since then, she's crushing it. She's 8 for her last 13 with a couple of home runs and nearly 10 driven in. And a spot here to do damage in a 3-1 count. Ball 4. They're loaded with nobody out.
Now, Dunn can launch the ball over the fence, but I think for anybody who loves the sport, you also love a player that can draw a walk. You want someone who could go up there and swing, but doesn't try and do too much and maybe strike out. You want someone who can also go up there and get on base in whatever way possible. Huge walk there.
Emma Duma, 2 for 2 against St. John's yesterday. Couple of singles, drove in a run. Chance to do more here. It's hard, but foul. And now Patchen ahead 0-2.
Patchen just so in command of her rise ball right now early on, and I think that that's a good sign because she hasn't even thrown her changeup yet, which could really make batters look silly. So I would look out for that if I was Providence.
Got her to chase. That is a massive strikeout for Brooklyn.
That ball was basically in the other batter's box, and that's just how much Patchen is moving that ball. Look how she delivers here. It ends up outside. And I mean, Duma came out swinging. She wanted to hit. She wanted to keep things going, but Patchen just outworked her.
Big spot for Rachel Petrarca. She's got some pop. 4 doubles and 3 home runs this year. And 0 for 3 last night. Did drive in a run. She hit a home run against Butler on Thursday. That was her 4th home run of the season. Patchen gets ahead again 0-2.
And I like Petrarca's adjustment here. She's hugging more in the back of the box because that rise ball is working so well. Staying in the back of the box gives you a second or two, maybe a millisecond if we're really timing it. But either way, it gives you some time to see the ball and let it be up in the zone if it's a ball.
Lee walked to start the inning. Smith got her to second, and Dunn just walked. Brooklyn Patchen trying to hit the escape hatch in an inning where it was loaded with nobody out. Runner coming home, and it's rolling up the line. Smith coming home, and we're tied. Petrarca did not swing, and there was chaos on the base paths because of it.
Are you kidding? Providence doing everything right. That's how you bounce back after going down in the first half of the inning. Here you go. You make use of whatever you can. A pass ball here. And you know Gabby Lee was going for it, and Smith came hustling around third base, trusting her speed and knowing, all right, we got to cause some chaos of our own.
So Crystal Wood, Gigi, just came out, Creighton's head coach, and she was probably wondering what some of you were wondering watching. Wait, did Petrarca swing on that? But she got the explanation from Don Bove, the home plate umpire. She did not, and because she didn't, 2 runs just scored.
Great body control from Petrarca.
So what they ruled was that Petrarca struck out, but of course it being 2 outs instead of 3 outs, it turns into a pass ball and a couple of runs scored.
Sometimes a coach will call that a swing cover when you have someone on. You want someone to just swing over the ball so you can free up the steal and kind of confuse the catcher. So it's like we just saw that, but to score 2 runners into home.
If there's such a thing as a positive strikeout, I guess that's Rachel Petrarca's positive strikeout 3 minutes ago.
Right, this is something you kind of mentioned too, like you never know what's going to happen, and so sometimes doing is better than not doing because it can confuse people.
Right to second, Poole scoops it up, but we got a new ball game on a curious circumstance. Petrarca doesn't get a couple of RBIs on that swinging strikeout, but it did help the cause, and we're even up after 1. Elimination game on a sunny Saturday coming up on the middle of May outside of Philly. We're on the campus of Villanova. Creighton and Providence. Whoever wins this game gets to play UConn later today.
Left fielder.
That's not Guy Fieri, but it looks like Guy Fieri.
I think it is Guy Fieri.
It's
Every
GG.
celebrity is out here to watch some softball right now.
It's not Guy. If it was, I'd beg to be on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That's my favorite TV show. I'm not ashamed to say that when I go to a new town, there's a website that lists where diners, drive-ins, and dives have been, and I try to go to places Guy's been to. I trust that man with my life.
So we're close to Philly. Are you gonna hit up Pat and Gino's then?
I have thoughts on Pat and Gino's. I've heard much. Ball's in shallow left, and it drops foul. Smith, the left fielder, was coming in, but she actually gave way to Emma Duma, who almost made a really nice diving catch out there.
That's one of those tweeners that you practice all year long. But here's the thing about playing a field that's not yours is you don't know how the sun is going to affect you. Guy Fieri has his visor to help himself out, but as an outfielder, my first thought today is, okay, where's east and where's west? Because where's the sun setting? Because it's going to mess up either the catcher or the outfield, and they have to be ready.
Just to clean up your point on Pat and Gino's, I may or may not have a family member who went to school here at Villanova, and he may or may not have told me to avoid those two places, so...
Hope told you?
No, I don't know Leo. I wish I did. You know, he's another Midwesterner. He's from Chicago. Up the middle for a knock. Lynn Davis leading off the second with a single.
So on days like this, I keep saying the theme is you don't know what's going to happen. You have to do your best stuff right now at this point in the season. And Lynn Davis was a player who only got one at-bat in the loss yesterday. That makes you so hungry as a hitter. So she went up to the plate wanting to get her own, and to drive it up the middle is perfect execution to now bring up a great top playmaker.
Dalton bunts it foul. Alec had one of the highlights of the tournament a couple of days ago. A home run robbery to clinch a win for Creighton over St. John's.
And Dalton is one of those players where I talked to the Creighton dugout before the game. Like, oh, who's kind of slept on with your team? And they say it's Ella. The whole conference should be talking about her more.
But she pops this bunt up, and Providence catches a break.
That's one of the worst feelings as a softball player is you have one assignment, everybody in the world knows you're bunting, the entire defense is crashing in on you. It hurts to pop it up, but Dalton has to back up on defense. And now you bring up the top of the lineup, who Krista Wood and this Creighton team has come to trust this entire year.
Sydra Seville added to the single-season hits record at Creighton with a single into left in the first. Anytime that average is near 400, you're doing something right. Runner taken off, and the throw's into center. Davis swipes second.
Krista Wood saw Providence take advantage of great base running to score two, and that's something that Creighton has to do too. Behind the plate, you don't know if a runner's going, but with Lynn Davis's speed, I like that move Wood sending her early on, especially early in the game, because you have room to play with.
There's Seville here. What pitch you looking for? Where are you trying to hit this thing?
As a lefty slapper who just got on by hitting it in the 5-6 hole, I want something outside, which is something that you actually get a lot. I want to leave the high things up and try and maybe draw a walk too if I can. Come back.
Got that outside pitch and sent it to center. Davis running around third. Throws late. Seville did it again. The record-setting star for Creighton has given them the lead right back.
Seville, that double celebration, this entire conference has come to know her for swinging away on this one, going with it, and then driving it up the middle. I will give some credit where credit's due to Toomey backing that ball up as a pitcher. That's something that you kind of forget. You're so worried about pitching the ball that you forget the basics of backing it up. And as the balls exchange here and Providence changes out pitchers, great heads-up work from her because otherwise Seville's at third.
Toomey's magical run is done for now. Let me tell you who's coming in for Providence after this. It's been a magical week for Alyssa Toomey here at Villanova, but as of now, her luck has run out. Creighton got to her in these first couple of innings, and now Providence goes to their bullpen, and that's a pretty good option. Tori Grifone was second team in the conference this season, into the circle for the Friars. And right now, Gigi, she's got to put out what is maybe a roaring fire here, because you got Seville on second with one out in the right spot in the lineup for Creighton coming. It's the two-hitter Pearson. Taken high for a ball.
And I think that's fine. That's a first fine pitch. Obviously, Griffone's assignment right now is we need 2 outs. Providence has to get 2 outs and get back in the dugout and keep responding to Creighton scoring. So for Griffone, it's trusting her pitches that work, and she also has a nice screwball and a lethal changeup.
Thing dropped in there for a strike.
Griffone has so much command on the mound, and days like today where you want to play 2 games, both of these teams do, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I don't think Griffone was expecting the assignment this early on, but she seems ready for this.
Pearson bunted for a single in the first. Both these teams have been scratching across runs so far in the game. Creighton did get an RBI double from Schultz in the first, but other than that, it's been some small ball to get some runs home. Creighton team, Gigi, that scored exactly 1 run yesterday has already scored 3 runs today.
And I love this matchup as team identities because they're both those kind of scrappy teams, not necessarily big home run hitting teams like we could see, especially with the team. One of these teams is going to play later today in UConn. But in Providence's series against Creighton earlier this year, that's how they ended up winning the series, taking them 2 games to 1. It was actually coming back in the 7th inning. So Providence had to claw their way back to win, and it was through scrappy ball play like that.
Pearson fights another one off and making Griffone work in the first batter that she faces.
And this is kind of, in a way, Pearson's first at-bat, because this is the first time she's facing this pitcher, but also last one she gave herself up for a sac bunt that ended up turning in her favor. So I like to see her taking hacks, being confident, and just trying to cause some chaos against Providence.
It's going to be at least a 7-pitch at-bat to start Tori Griffone's day. Grad student from Sussex in Jersey. It's northern Jersey. If we have time later, we'll get into that debate. Is there such a thing as central Jersey? Some people who think there's only north and south.
You know, if only this was a call-in show.
In the air, shallow and left. Smith's got it in foul ground, and Griffone gets out number 2.
And those are the kind of outs that the Providence defense expects with Griffone on the mound. She's so spinny that batters end up popping up a lot against her. So for Creighton, it's seeing the top half of the ball, leaving the rise ball up in the zone, and then trying to split the ball with the barrel of the bat and push it to the green.
Catching that outside corner to start off against Lily West.
Griffone finding her footing. Didn't pitch yesterday. She didn't have to because they ended up winning in 5. So she's probably been sitting there waiting. I think a lot of pitchers at this time of the year, they just can't wait for their name to be called. So she's kind of trying out a whole lot of different pitches right now. If you need to know how spinny her ball is, by the way, look at how hard it was for Eichten to catch it behind the plate. It ends up spinning out of her glove. That's how spinny it is.
Challenge here for Lily West, trying to figure out Grifone. Trying to keep this thing close for Providence. Limits damage in the second. That thing spun all the way to the backstop. So now, if you're Grifone, if you're Eichten, the catcher, are you nervous to keep calling these spinning pitches that get another one by us here? That's another run home. You nervous?
I don't think Eichten is. I don't think she is. I think that she understands this moment, and she's caught Grifone for so long that she wants this, and she's ready to put her body on the line to block a ball if she needs to.
This would be the count to throw another one of those pitches with some spin to it. 2-2 on West.
Well, that says a lot to me that Providence has two other pitchers warming up right now, just in case. And that's not something just so they stay loose. That's an intentional coaching move.
There was just some action in the Providence bullpen, by the way. They had Jessica Walter get loose. It's win or go home, Gigi. We got all hands on deck here today for the Friars.
Especially Walter. I think that makes sense to have her warming up because she's an older player. She's a senior. She's so mentally tough, and she's a great leader. So sometimes it's not even about having your best pitcher on the mound. It's who could lead the team best and be poised so they could play 7 innings in this game.
Down and right, and the lead grows for the Blue Jays. Seville in to score. How about that 2-strike, 2-out swing from Lily West?
And Sebastian out there in right field making a good decision. There's 2 outs. Sometimes you want to come in and crash on that and try and get the out, but she kept it in front of her body. West, so good with runners on. All she had to do was hit to the right side of the field, and she did that. She executed her game plan perfectly.
Oh, another wild pitch. All that spin and all that movement for Grifone is starting to bite her here.
And we'll see, too. I know Providence has some girls warming up. Like you said, Jessica Walter is one of them. But Grifone is this team's ace so far. So she has to lock in here, and they just need one more out and get back in their dugout.
RBI double for Schultz in the first. That was against Alyssa Toomey, who has been taken out of the game here in the second inning. There's some of that action you're seeing for Providence. They've also got Riley Quirk warming up. How long of a leash does Grifone have here? If there's another hit or two, do you got to think about it?
I think you do have to think about it because I keep saying this is a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, you have to win this game. You have to win pitch by pitch, but also you want to try and play later today. So if Grifone's not feeling it now, don't ruin her chances for the rest of the day if they do get to that game against UConn.
Went inside and back outside to get a couple of strikes.
And now with 2s all across the board for Grifone, this is the pitch that really matters. We can see if she goes to that changeup, it's so lethal, but she's still not trusting her command. So I think sticking to what she knows and just going east to west rather than changing up the speed.
There is the open bag at first. So you watch Schultz and they set up a force play at third, second, and first, but also you got Sydney Potter, one of the better power hitters in the conference, waiting on deck. So putting extra women on base for her may not be the best idea.
Right, it's like Schultz kind of protects Potter in a way because you have to pitch to them back to back.
Well, they're going to have to pitch to Potter with a couple on base. Schultz just walked.
And Potter is dangerous, always, but she's especially dangerous when she's seeking revenge. She went down, not even swinging, straight out looking her last time up, and she's one of those batters that won't let that happen 2 times in a row. You see her locked in. I like seeing each player's kind of mental reset, like you mentioned, and for her, it's that one look at the bat before she steps in. Potter did not like that call at all.
What told you? Was it the eye roll we could see from all the way up here? Was that the context clue?
Ding, ding, ding. It was exactly that.
Picture really is worth 1,000 words sometimes. Maybe 2,000. And sometimes when you get a tough strike 1 call, you have to chase what turns into strike 2.
Right, because then you're putting a pressure on yourself of saying, okay, this umpire has a big zone. I have to swing at everything, especially with runners on. Creighton doesn't want to make the mistake of leaving runners on at this point in the game. They have to tack things on continuously.
Well, Providence thrived last night against St. John's. They shut them out, but Johnny's had their chances. They left 9 on base in that game. And if Griffon and Providence can get out of this inning without anybody else coming across, yeah, they've given up 4 runs, but they also would have left 4 on base to start the game. Big pitch here, 0-2 to Potter. Got her. Torrey's pumped up. And Creighton settles for 2. Sydra, Seville, and Lily West drive in 2 for Creighton. But Providence evades further trouble.
3 hits, no errors, 2 players left on base after 1.5 innings.
You can tell this is a winner-go-home game between Creighton and Providence. They're living and dying on every pitch. Creighton just scored a couple more runs in the top half of this second to take the lead back, Gigi, but they did leave a couple on base. And if we've learned anything about these Providence Friars so far in the Big East softball tournament, they'll scrap their way back in the game. That felt like a big strikeout for Griffon at the top of the second.
It was a strikeout for the team in a way too, because it's like, okay, we can all release. Let's go back, get on defense. We have a solid defense. All right, let's get back on offense. Excuse me, but Griffon battled her way, and I think she's gonna have to finish this game. It looks like for Providence, because they have to win this one to play later today.
Providence did have some women warming up in that top of the second. Off the glove of Perez. Aldrich scorched that thing to left. Check the exit velo on that thing.
Erica is so huge on defense at third base for Creighton. This ball is hit way too hard. Great way to turn on this pitch. Patchen doesn't really leave the ball over the plate much, so to capitalize on that and get on, it's kind of like Providence's identity is, we have a short-term memory, we're going to get on quick and forget about anything you scored against us.
Peterson to left. It's off the wall. Aldrich coming to third. They'll stop her there. Sophia Peterson's hot streak continues. Homered last night, she's doubled today, and Providence is buzzing again.
For some reason, too, with one runner on, I think Davis was playing in a little bit in left field, trying to go for the out too much off the bat. Providence, and they're just stringing things together. Little bump at third, too. It happens.
Sebastian drops one down. That'll get the job done. The Friars darn good situationally yet again.
And what I love about that, too, is as Sebastian was crossing first base, where she was thrown out, she's immediately clapping because she knows she did her job. They just answered back and scored off a sacrifice suicide squeeze. What a great call from Providence.
It's just been so remarkable to watch them the last couple of days. It's been so remarkable to watch them this whole week. A team that was the 6th seed coming into this tournament, a team that began the season 0-9. But a team that's playing with confidence, and they've tied it up again. How about Lee driving in Peterson?
Lee, a player who didn't make great connection with the ball yesterday, and she did it today.
Now batting for the Friars.
Providence.
Left fielder,
Working through things, and Gabby Lee just staying patient and finding her spot. She knows that if she gets it on the ground, she can kind of leg it out no matter what, and she forgets anything that happened to her personally, because this is more about the team and doing what the team needs.
Brooklyn patching yesterday, gave up those 8 earned runs against UConn, and they're taking her out here.
for Creighton.
Kenzie Schofer was pretty good against a great Husky lineup yesterday. Back to work today in a moment. You want to know how quickly things can change in a season? Providence was 0-9. They were swept by Villanova here at Villanova last weekend, but their coach, Kelsey Christensen, Gigi, was telling us coming into this tournament, we're coming in with nothing to lose. We got house money, and right now they are playing like a team that has got a little bit something to prove, but they're just playing free and loose, and nothing is facing them right now.
I mean, you know what I loved about her, too? And this Providence dugout, you see it's evident. Everyone is smiling. Coach told us yesterday, she was smiling during the game. She goes, I don't do that a lot, and that's not because Providence doesn't win. It's just because usually they don't get to play with this much freedom.
Kenzie Schofer yesterday was good against Connecticut. Shut him down by UConn standards for 4 innings. Only gave up a couple of runs to the best offense in the Big East. But now she's got to find a way to slow down a Providence offense that scored 10 runs against a St. John's pitching staff that was statistically one of the best in the country all year. And now Providence already has 4 runs scored and 4 outs recorded at the plate. Smith did get a piece. That's a foul ball.
Schofer is just stone cold on the mound, too. So I like this move for Creighton. But the difference maker for Providence for this whole series in this tournament has been Smith. She's so electric, and she just really could be creative and find ways to get on and move runners over.
Their foul ball. Got to send Lee back to first. Smith had one of the highlights of the night last night for the Friars. An RBI triple against St. John's. There are these little moments, Gigi, in any sports game, but specifically softball and baseball, where all of a sudden things kind of flip, and that triple for Smith is when it kind of flipped. You kind of figured it was Providence's night last night.
And I think it was partly because you didn't know if she was going to go to third or not. But she knew. She knew that entire time before she even rounded second. And one of the best highlights for that entire team was her sliding in and just yelling as she did it.
got her on a strike three that time. Chauffeur gets the call on the corner.
Chauffeur could be responding to what the umpire is calling. He's calling a lot east to west. She takes advantage of that. This is kind of hugging the river against Smith, but hugging inside just enough to be a strike. I know Providence isn't happy about that, but that works for Chauffeur, especially someone who wants to kind of move the ball side to side.
Part of the reason why Crystal Wood is out here to talk to Chauffeur is to make sure she's careful with Cameron Dunn, who's batting nearly 600 in the last week and back on base already today, walked in the first inning.
Yeah, you would trust Coach Wood's advice, a great player in her own right, coming and just kind of setting the tone of, all right, let's just get one more out right now.
When you're facing a hot hitter like Dunn, Gigi, easier said than done, but are there tricks of the trade where you can try to shut down a hot hitter?
You can try. You can try and throw off her rhythm and maybe get to the mound a little bit quicker than normal, not disrupting your own flow and your own timing, but little things where it's like, okay, maybe we could get her timing off, or for pitch selection, moving things around a lot and not giving her anything she wants to swing on helps a lot, because then you might get her swinging out her shoes.
Kind of nibbling at the edges here in this at-bat.
Exactly. I think that's the way you have to do it. When her bat could reach so many parts of the plate, Chauffeur can't leave it over the plate at all, and realize that she has a big zone behind now with the home plate umpire.
If you believe in such a thing as the old unintentional and intentional walk, Creighton just intentionally walked Cameron Dunn.
That might have been part of the meeting, too, we're talking about, where Wood comes out and says, okay, let's not give her anything to hit at all. We'd much rather face the bottom of the lineup. I don't know, Emma Duma's dangerous as well.
Duma, the senior from Midland Park, New Jersey, about 30 miles from the city. Couple of hits against St. John's last night. 11 doubles on the season coming into this Big East tournament. One and one. Lee at second, Dunn at first. Lee has awesome speed at second. You're expecting her to score on pretty much anything with 2 outs.
I bet you Duma is thinking trade places, too, with Lee. She knows she can score Lee, but she also knows she can hit doubles. So she wants to try and use the velocity that Chauffeur's providing to find a lot of green, because there is a lot of distance between the Creighton outfielders for Duma to work with.
Oh, nice pick at first by Potter. That saved the run. Put a star by that play. Providence scores twice to tie it, but they leave 2 on base in the bottom of the second. This Fryer bunch will not quit. They've scored twice in the bottom half of the first and second, after Creighton scored twice in the top half of each inning. softball brought to you by Invesco QQQ. We got a heck of an afternoon of softball brewing here. Winner go home, Creighton and Providence. The winner gets UConn later on today. That game will be over on FS2. UConn wins that game, they're the champions. Haven't lost yet, double elimination. If whoever wins this game beats UConn tonight, we will play one elimination, go for broke, true championship game. That game will be played tomorrow, 11 in the morning, back here on the Big East Digital Network.
And you know, Creighton really wants that. They want to keep on attacking. They've been able to score first and get a runner across the plate in each of these innings so far. And a lot of these players have experience going the distance. In days like today where you have to win to move on, some of their favorite memories is winning and winning in the tournament last year. And it's infectious when you win, but you don't quite hoist the trophy. You're even more hungry to do that.
Tori Griffon came on in the second, did give up a run. Now gets to face her own clean inning to start here in the third. Facing Erica Perez, who walked first time up. At that corner again. Gigi, sometimes pitchers, when they're normal starters like Griffon, they have to come in a relief role. As silly as it may sound, it's just a little bit of a mental exercise. They're not quite able to do it until they get a full, clean inning to work.
That's so true. It's as if they're playing a different position at that point, coming in later in the game than they expect. When you have that start of the game, you have so much more time, it feels like, to warm up and to kind of take your time with things and go through the routine. But when you're not starting, you're waiting in the dugout, waiting for your name to be called. You're sitting in there just spinning the ball into your own glove to try and stay loose. You're exactly right. It's a whole new assignment for Griffon.
Perez fouls off a couple in a row, making Griffon work to get her here.
Griffon going side to side right there. And Perez, like you said, she walked her last time at bat. She has such a good eye at the plate, and she's able to waste pitches and wait for something that works for her more in the inside upper part of the plate.
Three straight fouls from Perez, and she made pretty good contact in each of those.
And I think Perez is one of those swings that you can study if you're kind of working on your swing right now, because if you see, she tilts her bat so far back, but she uses her wrist strength to get that through the zone quickly. And that just shows how strong she is, because Griffon's pitching it hard. That doesn't give Perez a lot of time to work with, especially with her bat path.
Perez just so much confidence at the plate right now. Went 7 for 10 last weekend against Seton Hall. She's got a hit in each of the 3 games that Creighton has played this week. Can she get back on base here? This is a heck of an at-bat. She's turning it in here.
And that's such a hard pitch to hit. Griffon is so good at spinning it up in the zone, but Perez just slices the bottom half of the ball on that rise ball. It shows how much she's trying to fiend off anything that's coming over the zone, because she does not want to strike out.
5th different Creighton batter today who's gotten it to a full count. The elongated battle continues.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have little things that we would keep track of to see if we had a quality at bat or not. Sometimes it's a hard hit ball, sometimes it's just getting on base. But one thing we keep track of is 11 plus pitch at bats. For some reason, that was the magic number, because that shows you made the pitcher really work for one batter.
Perez wins the battle. 4 different fouls with 2 strikes, and that is a heck of a way to start the 3rd inning.
Great control there. Perez waiting to see something that she likes, and she doesn't. None of those pitches worked for her. She fouled them all off. But then also Grifone, she's still trying to work her changeup. That's that one that keeps going in the dirt. It's usually a strikeout pitch for her, but she's just not having command of it yet today.
There has been action for Providence in their bullpen throughout the last couple of innings. Gigi, you were talking earlier about how it felt like this was Griffone's game to win or lose, but Riley Quirk, who was warming up last inning, is warming up again.
And I think that says a lot about what Providence is looking to do today. For Quirk, it's you have to step in and be ready to go against a Creighton team that's hot. But sometimes it's you give a pitcher a shorter leash than normal because the team that's hitting is just responding so well to what they're seeing. So having Quirk go in is a great move because they don't really have a lot of scout on her. They don't really know what she throws, but someone like Grifone, they know what's coming.
And a Poole stepping in. You know, that Perez at bat, 5 different fouls with 2 strikes, 11 pitches, and how many times, Gigi, do we see a batter, even if they strike out in a long at-bat, it just empties the gas tank of a pitcher, and then the next batter, in this case, Poole, gets to take advantage. We'll see if that happens.
And all of the batters after that, too, because everyone is watching, seeing what the pitcher is choosing to throw and when, what kind of sequence she's working with, because then you could go up with a more established game plan of, okay, I'm not going to swing at anything outside. I'm only going to attack the inside part of the plate, for example. So, yes, someone like Perez setting the table for them is so helpful to keep on passing the bat forward.
Foul ground, third base side. Peterson couldn't quite get there. 1-2.
Peterson with the last-minute glove flip there. It's a hard play to make. Yeah, everybody practices going back on balls, but infielders aren't used to doing that. And you want to get that out. You want to do it for your pitcher, but that one was hard. That was kind of no man's land right there.
All right, here we go again for Torrey Grifone in the same spot to Perez. Pull up the middle. Flip to second. Relay back, not in time. But that's a nifty play on the middle of the infield to at least get one.
Getting the lead runner to shutting down a chance at momentum. That's what you want. Yeah, you want the double play, but you got the lead runner. And now Creighton still in that situation with just one runner on.
Duma and Petrarca, the duo at short and second. That's Petrarca making a nice play at second. Lynn Davis, the next up for Crystal Woods Club. We were talking last inning, too, the amount of spin that Grifone has got on these pitches. Emma Eichten, the catcher, working really hard back there.
It's so hard to catch. And it's really hard to catch a really spinny pitcher, especially one that could jump it up. And that's why we saw a couple of wild pitches. It's not just, pitchers' body angles, but it's also catchers getting to know the new pitcher coming in.
One shown and pulled back. That's a stolen base. Run game's been active for Creighton today.
Awesome call by Coach Wood, going with that bunt coverage there, moving the runner over to second. It really frees up the batter because you have a runner in scoring position now, and you can get more creative. You could go to the right side of the field. You can go on the ground. You could go in the air, kind of that sacrifice fly that works for Creighton so well. But either way, move the runner over, heads up call.
Davis up the middle, right at lead. That is one of the worst feelings in the world as a hitter. You're kidding me. I hit it right to somebody? Like, come on.
You barreled it up. It felt so good. But this defense is just in the right spot for you, right at the logo. Yeah, there's not really a comparable feeling of disappointment.
I can think of a couple of things that are quite as disappointing.
I don't know. Wait, what's worse than that?
I don't know. Some of them are safe for live television, I'll tell you in the commercial. Ella Dalton takes ball 1. If Torrey Grifone can hold Creighton off the scoreboard here. This will actually be the first half inning today where nobody scored.
We'll see if that happens, but I know Dalton, she's such a confident player on defense. She's just struggled offensively a little bit there, and she got the bunt called last time up, so having a runner in scoring position now, she's going to be swinging away, and that might help her confidence a little bit more.
Walk to start the inning for Perez. She was out at second on that fielder's choice. Poole got on base, stole second, and the hard line out to center you just saw from Davis. But a shot for Ella Dalton to have a little two-out magic here. It's a big strike call. Ahead in the count now, Griffon 1-2.
And for Dalton right now, it's just keeping it simple. You have 2 strikes on you. You have to feed off anything close at all. And that's why Dalton's up in the box. She wants to attack a strike because she wants to hit it. She's not trying to draw a walk.
All right, so a couple pitches a row outside. If you're Griffon, you staying back outside? You trying to come back inside at some point?
I think with Dalton swinging straight up, I would go up and down more likely because Griffon has a rise ball, but the thing here is, okay, throw the rise ball, but have command over it. You can't have a pass ball here and move her over to third.
Ella Dalton tried to bunt in the second, but she popped it up to third. Peterson made the catch for Providence. Swinging away here on a 2-2. Anything to the outfield, and Hannah Poole may be able to come all the way home. Check swing foul. Couple in a row. Rise balls up in the zone.
Yeah, I think that works. And then also now, Griffon has a little bit more confidence. She obviously has more reps under her belt, pitches thrown. We'll see if she goes to that changeup now. That's kind of a good way to set up the changeup is move up the ladder up in the zone and then a lethal changeup.
Ripped foul down the line. Dalton hanging tough. There's been some good at-bats in this half inning for the Blue Jays.
And I think that says so much about how resilient they are. They only had 3 hits yesterday in a really big game for them. Today is a different story, already 6 hits as a team, and they're really being patient and stretching at-bats and making Griffon work. That's one thing that Providence has a weakness in, is their pitching depth.
The 26th pitch of the inning is a big swing and a miss for strike 3. Griffon finally pulls the string, and we finally have a half inning where nobody scored. Providence keeps Creighton off the board.
Amelia, turn off alarm. Amelia, weather?
70 degrees and sunny today.
Amelia, unlock the door.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Jen.
Why not?
Did you forget something?
My protein shake.
The future isn't scary. Not investing in it is.
You're so dramatic, Amelia.
Bye, Jen.
100 innovative companies, 1 ETF. Before investing carefully, read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Big half inning where Providence holds Creighton off the board. You know, the Blue Jays have scored 4 runs in this game, but they've also left 5 on base, and that's where Providence did so well yesterday. They left 9 St. John's batters on base, and now Kenzie Schofer, Gigi, has a little bit of pressure on here in the circle in the third.
And we would never know it. You look at Schofer, she's so composed every time. She likes assignments like this, and we're kind of talking about how this is a game you have to win, yes, but then you're turning around and trying to play 2 more after that to win the championship. And both of these teams are throwing their best pitchers now.
So Rachel Petrarca to the plate. Indulge me this for a second. So you always notice what somebody's walk-up song is. Rachel Petrarca's walk-up song is a song from the movie Twisters last year that's about the state of Arkansas. So you'd think, oh, she's from Arkansas, right? She's from Tampa.
Would you think she's from Arkansas? Off that, I don't know if people would know that reference.
I mean, if someone's walk-up song is Sweet Home Alabama, like, I'm not going to guess they're from Utah, you know?
Okay, I mean, that's true. Yeah, you want to have some pride where you're from. Maybe she likes the song.
It's a good song. I'm just saying. I did a double take when I heard it yesterday. What was your walk-up song at Fordham? Or did you not have them?
Oh, we had them.
Okay, good.
Mine was a song called Icy Girl.
Why did you pick that?
I thought it was just so fun. It was
Okay.
such a fun song. And then I liked it too because the whole crowd would get into it. That helped me. But there was a lot of great ones too. I loved I don't listen to rock a lot, but when someone had that as a walk-up song, it just kind of set the vibe and it was like the perfect softball energy. What would yours be, you think?
What would mine be?
Yeah.
I'll tell you after this pitch. It's called a tease. So my walk-up song would be "Handsome" by Chance the Rapper.
I like that.
Do you know that song?
Yes, I know that song.
You know the first line, right?
Tell the people.
It's and you tell them. If I say it, I sound, big ego. 3-2. That's foul. We'll do it again.
Petrarca working this at bat too. I want to get to your song, but Schofi's kind of showing off a little different speed and play throughout this at bat, and Petrarca is just staying right there with her. Okay, and now we're ready for it.
I thought you were gonna say it.
No, you got it.
The line of the first song is "Baby, I look good, I look handsome." I just want people to get the point. Petrarca working the walk, and she's on base for the first time tonight. All right. Whoever wins this game between Creighton and Providence is moving on to the Big East Softball Championship against UConn tonight, 5 o'clock at FS2. If UConn wins that game tonight, they're holding up that trophy. They're the champion. But if UConn loses because it's a double elimination tournament, they are not out. This ball bunted to the left side, and Eichten moves Petrarca up to second. If UConn loses against whoever wins this game later on today, we'll have one more game on the Big East Digital Network tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, at 10 o'clock.
It's such an exciting day. You want to keep going. And like I said, the aces are throwing right now. Grifone is who they want to throw against UConn. Schofi's who they want to throw against UConn, but they have to win this game to get there. And Providence stringing things together right there with Eichten giving herself up. We'll see how Aldrich responds and if she swings and hits this one.
On hitter. Checked her swing, and apparently it crazed her knuckles.
Absolutely off the hand, which hurts so bad. But at this point in the season, and this point in the game, every team wants anything they can get. So I wouldn't be surprised if Coach goes to review this year. But this is what I was saying. You practice getting hit by pitches in college softball, and it's because of moments like this. You have a centimeter or two between getting on base and having to stay and hit. Great body control there by Aldrich.
And now I got to be careful with Sophia Peterson. Sophia homered yesterday. She doubled and scored a run already today. Big spot. 2 on and 1 out. Providence can take their first lead.
And that's a different ballgame. Like you said, Creighton for the first time this game didn't score to start the inning. So if Providence can continue their scoring streak, then they take a lead and put Creighton at the first deficit they would face today.
I think that was the best pitch Schofer has thrown the whole day.
How about that changeup? And that's, as a hitter, when you know that a pitcher has a great off speed, it's on your toes because you kind of don't want to hit a changeup because you're not going to get as much pop off of it. But you also don't want to strike out off a changeup either.
Just missed the corner. 1 and 2.
I love how much Lily West frames these pitches behind the plate. She's staying with every pitch and giving her pitchers every chance at getting a strike called.
Ooh, Peterson thought about it. One bite. 2-2.
Schofire's good because she has an arsenal. Yeah, she has a changeup, but she also has a nasty drop ball, and that's what you saw there. That's great preparation from Peterson, knowing the drop ball might be coming and leaving it down, because otherwise she would not be able to touch it.
Caught at second. High throw. That could have been an inning-ending double play. Good contact from Peterson. Tough break was caught at second, but then the Friars honestly get a break here, Gigi. This should have been 2.
I know Petrarca is just exhaling right now because that's the last thing you want to do as a runner is a line drive and not see it down. Wow. Petrarca, take a second there.
And now Gabriella Sebastian coming up, who should be comfortable here at Villanova. Her sister Victoria just finished up her career at Villanova last year, played 5 seasons here. Gabriella's sister, Victoria, won a gold glove, Rawlings gold glove at first base in the 2022 season. Only one player in the country gets that. Victoria's sister, Gabriella, has ended up at Providence. She drove in a run in the second, dropped down a really nice sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, it's nice to have a great sibling to practice with. We see that with UConn and the Sebastian sisters showing off too.
Petrarca at second, Aldrich at first. Both pretty good speed. We've seen that Providence speed on display all week. Schoffer trying to get out of the mess. Three and 1.
Gabriella Sebastian doesn't play like your traditional 9-hole spot, and I think that's her seniority coming out to show. She's so experienced, and look how patient she is in this at-bat, only going for pitches that are close in the zone and really, really being decisive on leaving the balls up.
Good looking pitch on the outside part of the plate. 3 and 2.
Hey, maybe she wasn't looking for it too. I think Sebastian's one of those players that likes to turn on the ball a little bit more. So sometimes you want to just split the plate and leave all the outside pitches out and only focus on hitting the inside.
Shallow and right. Easy pickings for Seville, and Providence leaves another 2 on. Tight one, 4-4 after 3. We're back at Villanova, 4-4 game as we go to the top of the 4th, and Providence head coach Kelsey Christensen, kind enough to join us again. Coach, Gigi and I up here in the booth are sweating and living and dying with every pitch, so how are you feeling down there during this game?
You know, we're just having a lot of fun. I love a back and forth game. The Friars love a back and forth game. This has been a lot of fun, and every pitch we get together is just magic right now.
And Coach, I heard you say to the team right before you hopped on the headset, you said, good job, Black, keep the pressure on. What do you mean for that, for the offensive approach with your squad right now?
You know, I think we're putting hard balls in play, getting runners on first and second. You know, Sophia just had a laser there. It didn't get through, so what? You know, we're all about passing the bat, next pitch, and keeping pressure on the defense is always a good thing.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Best
Thanks
of
so
luck.
much. Go Friars.
So 4-4 here as we go to the top of the 4th, and a Providence Friar team that has been riding a heck of a wave this week at Villanova. trying to stay on top of that surfboard. But a challenge here, Gigi, as we go to the fourth. Top of the Creighton lineup coming, including Sydra Seville, who just keeps adding to the single-season record for Creighton hits. She's got 2 more in this game.
She's the perfect leadoff hitter. She gets on, and she's gotten on off almost 80 hits this season. It's unreal, and she does it because she's so creative. She has great body control, and as a slapper, too, she really works that 5-6 hole, and it worked for her early in this game. And once she gets on, you're so scared and tightened up as a defense because she could do anything to move herself over.
Ooh, they gave her the corner there. Usually Seville likes that outside pitch. That time she takes, and it's called a strike.
Grifone showing how her command of the ball is just increasing with every rep she takes. A lot more deep breaths out of her on the mound now, really taking her time and getting the call and not really rushing through things.
Another one on the outside part of the plate that Seville slaps foul, and Grifone gets ahead on Sydra.
One thing about Sydra, too, is as a leader, she leads by example, but also energetically. If she gets on, you'll notice she immediately turns to the dugout and hypes them up. That's not for her. That's to hype up the rest of the team and try to encourage them to pass the bat.
One, two. On the ground, Duma couldn't field it at short. Ate her up, and Seville's back on base.
And that's defensive positioning for a lefty slapper. Yeah, you play in because she has speed. You have to come up and run on that. But it's so hard to play it off that little short hop. Yes, shortstops practice it all the time. But Emma Duma not getting enough of that and keeping her head down. I think that was the key there. She saw it in her glove. Maybe she was thinking about rushing the throw a little bit too much.
They did give Seville a hit, by the way. So her third today. She's running and stealing another base. That's what makes her so hard to play against, right, Gigi? She gets a single, and more often than not, it's a double.
She can stretch it, and she's confident in doing so. It's sometimes you want to see the batter slide, or the runner slide around and try and avoid the tag. But you see it here, she slid to the side. She didn't even need to because she's so fast. It's kind of like she outran herself.
Over 20 stolen bases this year for Seville. And now Krista Wood and that Creighton coaching staff, Gigi, obviously wants to capitalize on what's a really great scenario now.
Absolutely, too. And I wonder what the call is here right now. I know sometimes teams want to just talk things over and kind of get a game plan down. But for Creighton, it's all about moving runners around once they get anyone on. So with Seville at second, you could be creative. And for Pearson, what could she do? She could go to the outfield, she could hit to the right side of the field, and it's pretty much a guaranteed run with Seville on second.
Good show bunt and pull it back. By the way, Creighton has now stolen 4 bases in the game. They've stolen a base in every single inning so far.
It's like they were itching to do so. They didn't really get many opportunities, didn't get on much yesterday. But that's their team identity. They're speedy, and they want to cause chaos and throw the defense off their timing.
Unrolling foul. Seville was on the move. She's got to go back to second.
And I think Pearson just showing, she was bunting for a hit there. She wasn't really bunting just to move Seville over. With a runner on second, Pearson wanted to lay one down, and that's why she took off running and maybe didn't keep the ball within the foul lines.
Just a little bit low, but you can see Eichten after that pitch point at Grifone. I think she liked that spot.
Right. Sometimes it's not about getting the strike. It's just about hitting your spot. Because if Pearson were to swing at that, that's one that normally batters chase on because it's only dropping off at the last second.
Gunn fields and makes the play at first, but quality situational softball from Creighton. Seville the third, one out.
Right, hitting to the right side of the field. Yeah, you want to get on, of course, but now you have one of the speediest runners in the conference at third, and you have a great situational hitter up to bat in Lily West. She sees a lot of balls from her position as catcher, and that makes her a dangerous person to have to face as a pitcher with a runner in scoring position.
So we were talking earlier about walk-up songs. Lily West's walk-up song is Teach Me How to Dougie, which came out in 2010. I don't know Lily's exact age, and it's very impolite to ask a woman her age, but if we're just doing math here, she's a junior in college, so she's probably like 20, which means that Lily West's favorite song when she was 10 was probably Teach Me How to Dougie, and now it's her walk-up song. That's how these things work.
Okay, I like that deduction.
It's about the only math I'm good for, you know?
Definitely good for other things.
Thanks,
Definitely.
Gigi.
Yeah, I'll keep
Thanks,
the hype up. And if you look at the Providence defense right now, too, Evan, you see the corners are crashed in. They want to try and take any bunt option away from Lily West. She doesn't show much, but with one out, you're worried about a suicide squeeze.
They try to drop down that bunt, and they ran into it out. The Providence defense big again.
How does that happen? It happens from heads up defense. You saw the suicide squeeze, you saw the show, but there, great move behind the plate, trusting her arm and getting that out at third base. What a way to work from Eichton. And also great coverage from the shortstop in Duma.
On that play, Gigi, is it more on the batter West to get a bunt down? Is Seville too far down the line? What went wrong there?
It's absolutely on West to get it down. If it was a squeeze, then your only job, no matter where the ball is pitched, high, low, in the dirt, whatever, you need to get it down because that runner's taking off. Seville only held up because she saw that West couldn't execute there, but she had no chance to get back even with her speed.
Little nubber. Graffone can't make the play. You know, she took so much off that pitch, and because the contact was weak, this thing is spinning around like a top.
Keep going, Evan. You're killing it. You got the whole softball down. Yeah, look at this spin, and then also playing your position as a pitcher. You have so much work to do when you're just pitching the ball. But then as a hitter, sometimes, you know, we talk about how hard it hurts your heart to hit a line drive right to the glove of a defender. But as a batter, it doesn't feel good to have an infield single, but it's nice to be on first, I guess. It's a give and take.
They did put air on the board, by the way, but I honestly feel bad for Tori Graffone. That thing was impossible to field. If you grew up playing backyard baseball on the computer like I did, I think there was a power-up that was called Crazy Ball, where you would literally hit it on the ground and the thing would zigzag all the way to the outfield wall. That's what that last one looked like from Lily West. Runner taken off for second. That is the 5th stolen base of the game for Creighton. Their second this inning. And still a shot to get a run across after all.
So I'm still wanting to hear about your baseball history with that game because I feel like that could help a lot. But to talk about Creighton and their approach right now, especially with Graffone, who goes to that changeup, it frees up the runners to try and push the bases. And that helps because the changeup takes some miles per hour off the ball, so it gives you an extra second or two to get to second base. But also, secret of the trade, sometimes you do leave a little bit early, and Providence is going to take whatever they could get. And they're going to review this one right now and try and get West out on the left early call.
Do you think she left early?
I think everybody who's ever safe at second off a steal leaves early.
I think it's pretty clear she left early. That ball is in Griffon's hand, and this is a really good challenge by Creighton.
What's the phrase? Indisputable?
Indisputable video evidence.
I think we have it. What do you think? Yeah, you think it's indisputable? You think they'll overturn it, though?
You know, I'm not often a betting guy. My experience the last couple of years hasn't been too great. But yes, I think it's a safe bet here that this call is about to be changed.
But you know what that does, too? It puts every runner that gets to first base on their toes, because that's kind of a trick of the trade. You do leave somewhat early sometimes, most of the time. And so now moving forward, if Providence has a speedy girl on, they might hesitate a little bit more.
There's our confirmation she's out. Providence presses the right buttons again. Still all tied at 4 as we go bottom 4. Four game as we go bottom 4. Creighton head coach Krista Wood joining us. Coach, Gigi and I up here, we're living and dying on every pitch. So what's morale like right now in that Creighton dugout right now?
I mean, we need to play a little looser, playing a little tight, missed a squeeze. We've given them a couple runs. They're playing hard. We're playing hard. Everyone's fighting for their life right now. So we just need to relax a little bit, play our ball. I think right now we're just playing a little tight.
Coach, is there a player that you turn to in moments like that to try and loosen up the dugout a little bit?
I mean, everybody can do it at times. Right now nobody's doing it, so I think I might have to do it. But, yeah, I don't know. They're just playing a little tight.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah.
Enzi Schofer back to the circle for Creighton, Gigi. And, as Coach was just talking about, unforced errors in the top half of that 4th. A squeeze play that didn't work, and then the final out of the inning comes when a runner leaves early at first. And that was fascinating what she just told us. Talking about, I feel like they need to play a little loose, because we have talked all week long, specifically the last couple of days, about how it feels like that Providence Fire team is just playing like, they're at the casino with house money. They're totally loose.
Right, and I think we had the great pleasure of going down there and talking to some of the girls, and that was the energy that you got from their dugout. We had, I think it was Duma was down there just slamming a monster, just ready, kind of hanging out before this game. And then the Creighton dugout, they were doing their thing too. The girls said that hacky sack, things just to loosen them up before the game helps, but they do have a little bit more on the line.
Schofer makes the play for the first out of the bottom of the 4th. I'm glad you brought up Emma Duma crushing a monster before the game, because the first thing I thought of when I see number 10 for Providence drinking a monster, I'm going, wait a minute, like, you crash when you drink an energy drink. So she was talking to us about, hey, I got to plan it out, I got to make sure I peak energy-wise at the right time, but I'm speaking from personal experience here. I've had a Red Bull at the wrong time before broadcast, and the end of it hasn't gone well. Davis has got room and left, and a couple of quick outs here in the 4th for Schofer.
Davis with all the sun protection on you could have as an outfielder. You got the visor, you got the sunglasses, and that's because the sun is directly above us right now in the outfielder's eyes. And I know hitters want to use that to their advantage, but outfielders, you don't want to use that as an excuse. And also, I agree, the untimely crash. For me, it's a coffee, though. A Red Bull. Yeah.
Cameron Dunn at the plate. Couple of walks in this game. And Gigi, we've talked about how Dunn has been the hottest hitter probably in the conference over the last week. She's bet nearly 600, and so far today, the Creighton pitching staff hasn't exactly given Cameron a lot of pitches where she can do damage.
Yeah, at a certain point in the tournament, when you have a great hitter like Cameron Dunn, where if she barrels up the ball, that ball is going over the wall. Most pitching staffs are going to choose to not give her an inch over the plate. So as a hitter, it's staying within yourself and staying locked into your game plan and not trying to chase after those pitches because you're not getting anything close.
She walked on 4 pitches last time up, and the first 3 have been well wide. And there's ball 4. I believe we just got our second straight intentional walk of Cameron Dunn.
Number 10, shortstop, Emma.
And we'll see, too, if Providence here turns to a pinch runner of their own for Dunn. Dunn's not slow by any means, but to put in someone a little bit more speedy can help Duma be more creative at the plate and maybe go to that bunt that she's able to lay down.
Base hit. Big hop and right so Seville can get it back in quick. But the plot thickens in the 4th. 2 on and 2 out.
I think you described, I think it was Smith earlier, as annoying in the most positive way, and that's what Providence is. They attacked first pitches. That's the way to do it because sometimes that's the best pitch you see in an at-bat, especially against Chauffeur, where she has so much junk ball in her arsenal.
Rachel Petrarca back up again. Walking a strikeout for the second baseman, the 5-hitter for Providence in this game. They have scored 4 times, but Friars have had issues getting people home. They've left 5 on. 1-1 here.
Petrarca understands her assignment right now. All she has to do is just poke this ball to the outfield. It's something she does, and this outfield wants to take away that double from her, and that's why they're not against the wall. They want to go for an out and finish the inning.
Dunn has walked, and Duma has singled with 2 outs in this inning. A Providence team that started the season 0-9, that was under 500 in the conference. But this week, they've been on a magical ride. No magic there. Nice running catch by Pearson. Sends us to the 5th. We're still tied. Winner go home. Creighton and Providence. Waiting in the wings for whoever wins this game is Peyton Kinney and the Connecticut Huskies. Coming up, 5 o'clock, FS2. If Connecticut wins that game, they're the Big East champs, and they're going to the NCAA tournament for the first time in almost 25 years. They haven't lost yet this week, so their season will not end if they lose that game. There would be one more game tomorrow morning at 10, which we'd have for you on the Big East Digital Network. Still got to find out who UConn's playing later today. We have an awesome softball game brewing. Kaylin Schultz takes strike 1 from Tori Griffone. Gigi, ever since she came on in the second, when she kind of struggled relieving in that inning, she's looked much better in the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Griffone, I think you said it great where she's used to starting. So she had to kind of get her sea legs under her. And ever since she's gotten more command of the ball, you're not seeing any wild pitches. And that's because she's able to control it really well and stay within herself, take some timing in between pitches to stay locked in. And for Creighton, it's knowing that her changeup's warmed up now too. So they have to be aware of that and not let themselves get late in the count. Otherwise, she'll throw it, and it's so hard to touch it when she does.
Dropping fast and right, but Sebastian's a little faster. Nice running catch and one gone in the fifth.
Yeah, and as an outfielder, sometimes you have to know how to play your different pitchers. And for someone like Griffon, batters aren't barreling up the ball a lot. And that's why with right-handed hitters, you could see them go to right field more with it. So right fielders have a lot more putouts when you have kind of more speed from the pitcher.
Sydney Potter, earlier this week, set a record. Drove in a run against Butler on Wednesday, broke this Creighton single-season RBI record. But the last couple of days, Sydney's kind of in a funk. Went 0 for 3 against UConn yesterday with a couple of strikeouts, and today against Providence, she has 2 more strikeouts and 2 at-bats. Is this a slump-busting swing? You bet it is! Sydney Potter, Apo Taco, and Creighton leads again. Sydney Potter, big fly, one of the biggest swings of the season for Creighton.
Sydney Potter leads this team in home runs for a reason. And like you said before, she was kind of in a funk, but how about now? She gets herself out of it. And sometimes those are the most dangerous players. After this, I can tell you about one girl I played with and the slump she was in and how good she ended up doing in the postseason.
Erica Perez takes, and now it's time for story time with Gigi.
So coming in, there was this lore of this one player who had gone over the entire year. And then with 2 outs, down 3 runs, coach put her in a championship game. Grand slam. Pinch hit.
Really?
Yep.
That's like movie-style stuff.
Keep the faith. I think Potter might have heard you. You know, our voice could travel down, so maybe she heard it. She had a little bit more oomph on that one.
God, I hope they can't hear us on the field. We've been talking about some weird stuff the last couple of days. Couple of walks in this one for Erica Perez. So now after Griffon, right? You got to reset. This game still firmly with time for Providence to come back. They still got the 9 outs to play with, but now 1 run, you're okay. Once you start to get 2 or 3 in a winner-go-home game, feels like you tighten up a little bit, even with how loose Providence has been playing. It's a big rest of the inning here for Torrey.
It's an indescribable feeling in a way where that reality sets in and you realize, okay, our season can end today. Some girls' careers can end today. Or we could keep on going and figure this thing out, even if it takes more than 7 innings. And that's why sometimes you see a lot of extra innings play in the postseason.
You know, Erica Perez is putting together some really great at-bats today. She's seen well over 20 pitches in her 3 at-bats. Those couple of walks earlier in the game are both long at-bats.
And Erica Perez is getting pitches to hit, but she fouls off the ones that she doesn't like. And I think it's getting to the point, too, where pitchers aren't really wanting to leave the ball over the plate for her because she can turn on anything. And I think you called her confident earlier. She's one of the most confident hitters in this tournament, but a more quiet leader in that way. She kind of just goes up there and wants to do her thing. And you see there, she always checks to make sure her mechanics are right before she steps in the box.
Here we go again. Another long at-bat for Erica Perez, who, yeah, she deserves to be confident, because last weekend she went 7 for 10 against Seton Hall. In each of the first 3 games that she's played this week, she's got a hit, and even today, no hits, but a couple of walks. The on-base streak is just fine for Erica. Griffon trying to get her 3 and 2. Could not. Erica Perez have an afternoon.
3 walks in one day. That's confidence at the plate at its finest. And it's also such selfless approach to softball because now Creighton can keep things going. It's not just a home run that keeps them in it. It's moments like this, leaving that ball off the plate and leaving 3 other pitches off the plate before that. Erica Perez, great approach to hitting.
Third at bat of the day for Hannah Poole. Pop out to third. Got on a fielder's choice in the third and ended up stealing a base. You know, Creighton in that 4th inning, as we were talking about earlier, Gigi, kind of ran themselves out of the inning. They had Seville at third with less than 2 outs, but she got picked off. This inning, Creighton, the home run from Potter to put him back in front, and they will take off Perez off the base paths here and bring in a pinch runner, so we may see steal number 5 potentially coming up here.
I think this is a great time for it. 5th inning, put in Ramis. It's the way to do it. And also give Perez a little bit of a break where she could go back in because she has a great defensive assignment at third base. But how dangerous now. You have speed at the plate and on first base. Creighton can keep on being creative with things. And I think you said it before, where they kind of ran themselves out of the inning at one point, and then afterwards they were able to adjust and then really capitalize on heads-up base running and pushing the speed because they have so much of it. They have to go all gas, no brakes to finish this game if they want to play in a championship.
Big wave and a miss. Another spinning pitch for a swing and a miss strike for Tori Griffon.
And here's the tough assignment for Hannah Poole is following Erica. Yeah, the pitcher is going to be a little bit more rattled. Griffon was. She threw a ball to start this at-bat, but now she's coming back into her own with 2 strikes. So Poole has to protect.
There you go. Good defensive swing to stay alive.
Yeah, even the back foot coming off a little bit there. And I think that just shows all she's trying to do is fiend off those pitches she doesn't like, foul it off, and sometimes, you know, do whatever it takes, even if it doesn't look too pretty.
Perez at first after her 3rd walk of the game. She walked. Ramis is now running for her at first. 2 and 2.
One thing about Poole, she does this thing, and we kind of talked about this yesterday, where she just doesn't blink at all stepping up to the plate. She's so locked in. She's not afraid, and with a really fast ball coming inside like that, her not to move out the way shows how she's not playing with fear out there.
He going back and making a nice running catch. Couple of big steps in front of the wall. 2 gone.
What a read out there by Lee. Going back on that, it's tough, especially a field you don't know too well. You don't know that dimension. You don't know how many steps there is to the fence. But also for the pinch runner in Ramis, to know that Lee was going back on that, she had a chance to grab it. She held herself up and didn't get caught up or try to tag and do too much. Sometimes as a pinch runner, you want to kind of make the most of your moment and do too much. So great job from Ramis by staying within the moment.
Lynn Davis to the plate. That's a base hit into left. Griffon left it up and Lynn was ready. Couple more Blue Jays back on base.
And we'll see what Providence does here. Yeah, you want to keep your best pitcher in. Griffon has figured things out. But also, you've had pitchers warming up. You have an option. You can make a move. And Griffon's pitches aren't really working back-to-back at-bats. So maybe it's the time now to make a move.
They won't make that move. Griffon's coming out. Jessica Walters coming in. Season hanging in the balance for Creighton and Providence. Win or go home. We're about to find out what kind of guts Jessica Walters got. The 5'8" senior from Middletown, Delaware, onto the scene for Providence. Tori Griffone is out, Jessica Walters in. There's 2 on, 2 out in the 5th. Creighton's got a 1-run lead. GG, it's sink or swim time for Jessica Walter and that whole Providence team.
And Walter is the move here for Providence. She's mentally tough. She's a great leader. She's one of those pitchers that's kind of slept on, which means teams don't really have a scout on her. So Creighton, now a couple times through the lineup, they have to kind of start this game over from a batting eye perspective, and it's hard to do that when you don't know what the pitcher's throwing, like with Walter. And then for the Providence defense, you look at a pitcher on the mound that you have so much respect for. You really love the way that she leads. It's kind of a renewed found sense of confidence in such a tense situation.
Avery Barnard, the pinch hitter here for Creighton. This is not an abnormal scenario for Avery. Pinch hit in yesterday's game against UConn. And did single and score the only Creighton run.
And Walter there starting things off with the changeup that shows she has command of it, and they have to be ready for it.
Gets ahead on Avery real quick, going 2.
You mentioned this pinch hitting situation. Creighton works well because they have depth in their bench. They could go to people like Barnard to figure things out. I think it was a solid move to put her in yesterday. She sees the ball well, and so this matchup, it's kind of seniority versus seniority at that point.
Barnard puts it on the middle of the infield. A tricky play, and everybody's safe.
There was nothing Duma could have done there. There's no man's land, and there's also no man's land in the infield. For Duma, she could have come up on that. I don't think she could have stepped over to second. We'll see it again here, but Duma crashed in on it. She gets the short hop. Could she have stepped across? Not even in time.
And look who's coming up for Creighton. Sydra Seville. Right to third, and Providence escapes. Sydra has set the single-season hits record for Creighton. She had 3 hits today, but the Blue Jays just left them loaded. The plot thickens. Winner go home, Creighton and Providence. Whoever wins this one plays UConn at 5 o'clock back over on FS2. UConn wins that game. They win the Big East Championship, Tournament Championship. Kenzie Schofer came on for Brooklyn Patchen in the 2nd. She's still back out there in the 5th. And Creighton is 9 outs away from earning the opportunity to maybe, just maybe, as of this time tomorrow, win their first ever Big East Tournament Championship. They got to stave off a Providence team that has been so good all week. Emma Eichton takes strike 1.
You feel this newfound energy in this park right now, and it's because Providence has to get creative. They're used to stringing things together, but they're now 2 innings scoreless. They have to kind of restart right here.
Got a defensive change as well. Poole is no longer playing second base for Creighton. They've put Megan McCutcheon at second base. But it's win or go home. You make decisions like this. And if you're Megan McCutcheon, number 11, standing at second, GG for Creighton, are you anticipating the ball? Are you nervous fresh into a game like this? Like, how you feeling at second base?
Oh, you're wanting to win a championship, so you're anticipating a ball. The Providence team hasn't really hit to second. It might not happen a lot off the chauffeur pitching.
Essa grounded to third, and Perez was ready.
Perez so locked in on third base all day and all tournament long. But I think that move by Creighton there's a reason for it. There's either an injury to be worried about, we don't know, or also it could be we want her bat later on, McCutcheon. So we're actually going to put her in now and keep Providence on their toes and make her pitch to a great hitter, McCutcheon.
So we're talking about McCutcheon for Creighton, fresh into the game at second. Is she ready to make a play? I know there's part of our viewing audience who won't like this reference, but Derek Jeter used to talk all the time about, I was ready to make a play. I wasn't scared to make a mistake. And people always wondered, why did Jeter always make the big play? Why was he so ready in those big moments? And he said it was because, honestly, I think people are scared to make a mistake, and for better or for worse, I wasn't scared to make a mistake.
Yeah, I think that mentality trickles to softball as well. I know Jeter is a lot of players' favorite athletes of all time for those mindset shifts.
Perez again! Yes! How about that wizardry at third?
Coach called her an unsung hero of the team because she's such a quiet leader, but 3 walks today and then back-to-back defensive plays. Wow. This shows she wants to win this game. Not only is she fully extending for that ball, but then she's going over and trusting her arm to get it to first base.
That's a hard hit single into center. Peterson stays hot. Homered yesterday, double and a single today.
Sophia Peterson is the spark plug of the Providence lineup consistently. There's a couple people on this team that can do things like that, like restart a rally, and she's one of them. And what that shows me is she was really prepared. She was locked in, knowing what pitches she was going to get, expecting a first pitch strike from chauffeur, because she does that. And Peterson responding by sending it right back up the middle.
On Charich, pinch hitting here for Providence. First time we have seen her each of the last 2 days. All right, so we were just talking about what McCutcheon's thinking about now at second base for Creighton. What are you thinking about as a pinch hitter in a spot like this?
Again, I think it helps from having reps, seeing what chauffeur's throwing, knowing what sequence she's working with, and then staying ready. When Charich is a player that can come off the bench so well.
How about that? A base hit to left. Pinch hit, no problems. And Providence in business.
And Evan, we talked about the pitching change and kind of how a leader can step up to the mound and have confidence, trickle to the rest of the team like Walter does. That's what also pinch hitting changes does for the rest of the dugout, because now you're finding a new player to believe in. That player's turning around and giving that energy right back to the dugout, and it's also showing how much Coach Christensen believes in her team and the depth she has.
They'll put Sebastian back in the game to run it first after Charich as a pinch hitter. Just got the third hit of the game total against Kenzie Chauffeur for Creighton. Gabriella Lee pops out to short. And Providence, for the 4th straight inning, leaves 2 on base. Creighton is 6 outs away from playing UConn later today. this tournament has been the 6th seed Providence Friars, who started 0-9 but are a couple of wins away from the NCAA tournament. But they're staring down a Creighton team that came into this tournament on fire. Lost yesterday to UConn, but before that they'd won 15 of 17 in their last 10 games. And they may get a chance at revenge against UConn later on today and the rest of the weekend. This tournament is double elimination. Creighton lost to UConn yesterday. Tonight, over on FS2 at 5 o'clock, we will have UConn against the winner of this game. As it stands, it would be Creighton. If UConn wins, they win the title. If they don't, we will have one more game tomorrow morning at 10 on the Big East Digital Network. Right now, all Ashton Pearson is thinking about, Gigi, is getting more traffic on the base pass against Jessica Walter, who's the third different pitcher Providence has had today.
Right, and I think Creighton as a team and Providence as a team right now, they're thinking, all right, we have to play 7 innings. They both only had to play 5 yesterday because of a mercy rule. So now it's being perfect and for every pitch or every out.
Just foul down the line. Smith has tremendous speed, but even she couldn't get to that one.
No matter how much you want to, too. You can't lay out for that. It's on the line. You have to kind of let up there just in case it does get by you.
There had to have been times where you were, as an outfielder, running after a ball, and you're thinking, I'm not catching this. Why am I running after this ball? Like, there's no way I'm going to catch this thing.
Oh, exactly. And like we're talking about, it's so important to be locked in for every pitch right now. As an outfielder, sometimes you just need to go on a little run. Keep your head in the moment.
It's like High School Musical. You got to get your head in the game.
You got to get your head in the game. Okay, a reference we know.
2-1 the count here to Ashton Pearson, co-Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Number 4 for Creighton has been in this league for 2 seasons, and she's won Defensive Player of the Year twice. That's not bad.
Not too shabby.
Don't work with that. Again, yanks one foul down that left field line.
Eichton wants to pull the ball. Excuse me. Eichton's working back there as a catcher, and I love the flow that she has with Walter on the mound too. They're really staying patient right now. Every pitch matters, and I think having a catcher who's solid behind there like Eichton, it helps the pitcher who just came in.
Right to third, and Peterson makes the play.
And the way Walter throws, too, the Providence defense is going to see a lot more balls in play, a lot more stuff that Creighton can hit. So great job by Peterson staying with that, just taking one step and grabbing the out.
Fourth at bat of the game for Lily West. 2 runs driven in 2 of the Creighton 5 runs. You know, Gigi, all of us as sports fans watch so many softball games and baseball games, and we see a lot of situations like this where a team is down by a run with a couple of innings to go, and you keep thinking about what they have to do when they're at the plate, but there's so much pressure here on Walter just to keep it at that 1-run game. Once again, Lee in center makes the play, because if you're Providence right now in that dugout, right, you've got to be thinking, okay, we're due for 1. I mean, we've left 2 runners on base in each of the last 4 innings. They've left 9 on base in the game, so you're probably confident you can get at least 1. But if Creighton gets another run or 2, that's where the odds get longer and longer.
Right, and then that's where you get more pressure on you guys coming up in the bottom of the 7th. So yes, the assignment right now is Walter, and she's doing it. Let them put the ball in play and trust the defense behind you, because we also have to score to win anyway, and that's something that they've been able to do. They put up 10 runs as a team yesterday. They can really string things together, and I think that's why we see Walter so locked in too, and she's keeping the ball in the zone, letting them hit it.
But oh, to Schultz.
Walter working that rise ball. It's not really working in for a strike, but it's a good way to keep batters off their toes. Schultz, a great hitter, and she's great at leaving that ball up in the zone. But for her right now, she just needs to get on. A little tap to the outfield is all she needs. Or
You know, on Schultz, GG.
right? Or to see one more of those rise balls coming up in the zone. A walk works as well. And we've seen that Creighton is disruptive once they get one runner on first base.
They have 4 stolen bases in this game.
And they have more speed that they could turn to. If Schultz were to get on through a walk right now, they could turn to someone else quick and change her out, with after the injury too. Schultz doesn't really want to run. Maybe she does, but coach doesn't want her to run. And they have more speed options for subs.
Got a timeout here. They're looking at something on Walter's left arm. Jessica was smiling out there saying she's good. This timeout is actually a diabetic medical timeout.
I just saw her pop a little treat into her mouth. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think I speak for a lot of people who have family members with diabetes. It's so outstanding that, just because you have a condition like that, that does not affect your life in any more way than it has to. Mark Andrews, the great tight end in the NFL, diabetic. Ball 4 here to Schultz, and she just walked for the second time.
Great job by the coaching staff, too, keeping track of those numbers for her and just knowing when she does need a timeout. But now for Walter, it's okay. We took a break. I gave up a walk just now. One runner on. I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm going to keep on hammering in the zone. But now you have to do it against a home run hitting player.
Sydney Potter, as of now, the game-winning run on her solo shot to right in the 5th. The inside corner. Big at-bat here for Walter, GG, against Sydney Potter. That big home run last inning in the 5th that has given Creighton a lead they haven't given up.
And Walter's a great closer. She's used to getting the win. She's 7-1 on the season when she has this pitching assignment, so it's a great move to have her in right now.
That swing for Potter last inning. A swing that can turn your season back in the right direction. 2 strikeouts last night. Struck out in her first 2 at-bats today. And she takes this pitch up and out. And just maybe is guaranteed that Creighton will play at least one more softball game this season. It's a good pitch to run on. Schultz just swiped Creighton's 6th base today.
You know Walter throws the changeup. Schultz, I said the injury might stop her. No, it didn't. She read changeup perfectly and took off on it. Wow, great base running. Now Potter in the back of the box. She just can't get fooled on that changeup.
It's the 5th stolen base of the day for Creighton. Chopper to third. Peterson misplayed it.
That infield chopper has been so beneficial when you're up to bat, but then on defense, it's so hard to play. Infielders, you love to come in. We talked about Gina before. You love to have a throw on the run, but it's hard to do that, to play it cleanly, not bobble it when you're transitioning to throw. And that's what happened here.
And now, to state the obvious, Erica Perez has a chance to give Creighton insurance runs that they just want really, really bad. Let's see how aggressive Erica Perez gets in this at-bat. She's had 3 walks in this game. 3 outstanding at-bats that turned into walks. She's seen 25-plus pitches at the plate today. Runner at third is Schultz. Runner at first is Potter. A walk and an error plus a stolen base have extended the inning for the Blue Jays. Jessica Walter trying to get out of this jam. Right back to her. And she's out of the jam. Creighton leaves 2 on. They've left 10 on in the game, but they're 6 outs away from moving on to UConn later on today. This is the type of game where emotions are let loose. On to the bottom of the sixth, and for the Cinderella of this tournament, the six-seeded Providence Friars, this may be the time. Down by a run, and the best part of their lineup coming up, 2-3-4, kicked off by Eliza Smith with an RBI triple, and last night's 10-0 win that knocked out the regular season champs, St. John's. In the air to left, Davis got there. One pitch, one out, bottom six.
Providence cannot let them get them down. With Smith, that's a 400 hitter, not really doing 400 hitter things today, going over. What a way to track that down in left field, going up to the fence. But now, Creighton has to contain the bat of Cam Dunn.
And this is a fascinating matchup, game within a game here. Kenzie Schofer has not exactly wanted to throw Cameron Dunn a strike today. She's walked 3 times. She's thrown 9 straight balls in the last 3 at-bats, including this one for Cameron Dunn.
First pitch outside, too, showing she doesn't want to leave it. Second one outside. She doesn't want to leave it off the plate at all.
But do you get nervous putting the tying run on base like that if they're just unintentionally walking her again here?
I think you're more nervous if you give her one to hit and she sends it over the fence.
And the first 3 were not close to being strikes.
Not at all. Got a little one in the dirt there, too. And for Dunn, this tests her patience. Can she wait for a ball she likes and 3-0 be okay with drawing yet another walk?
Oh, she's back on. She's perfect. 4 for 4 today. 4 walks. She's technically 0 for 0, but I think everybody knows what I'm saying. She's seen 17 pitches today and 16 hit balls. She's got 1 pitch to hit.
And every time she goes down the line, too, when we talk about how much energy affects the team, a home run really gets people off their feet, but Dunn hasn't had the opportunity to do that. So she takes what she could get and slams the bat down, turning to her dugout, hyping them up.
So now we're about to see if that dangerous game that Creighton is playing, putting the tying runner on base, comes back and burns her. Emma Dumas' single was a soft one into right in the 4th. A lot has been left on the table in this game, Gigi. Providence has left 2 on base in each of the last 4 innings. They've left 9 on. Creighton just left 2 on base in the top half of the 6th, and they've left 10 on.
Right, and Providence has benefited from keeping pressure on teams, but now they have 3 scoreless endings under their belt. So it's going to take Duma seeing her pitch right here and just hitting it to right field. That's all she has to do. She just has to put a runner in scoring position.
2-2.
And that's because they have to score now. Yeah, this is a game with 7 innings, but for Providence, being down 1 in the 7th is way different than being tied up in the 7th. So they have some of their best hitters up to bat right now, and they have to string it together after that done walk.
she hold up? Yes. Count fills up.
On the other hand, too, Creighton has a dangerous pitcher on the mound. She doesn't try to overpower. She never does too much. But Chauffeur has so much in her arsenal, and that's what makes her a strikeout pitcher.
Uma turning in a good at-bat here. She's not quitting. That monster she drank before the game is working. Not sure if they're a sponsor. Not sure if we should be giving them that much love. Gotta pay for that.
Yeah, you gotta pay for it. Let's see if it kicks in here.
Perez. Nice play at third again. Speed means they can't turn two. But Perez has just been so calm at that hot corner today.
Perez doing her thing at the plate and then on defense, too. Being ready, staying locked in. Teams don't hit off Chauffeur a lot. And then Perez does the heads-up thing of getting the lead runner there. That shuts down momentum. After the walk, putting a ball in play, it has to go to the right side of the field because you want to move the runner over. You don't want to just replace her at first.
Pacharka pops it up. Perez there again. And Creighton is 3 outs away. They look for insurance in the top of the 7th as they try to lock down an 8 with the UConn later today. Whoever wins this one gets UConn in about an hour over on FS2. Creighton played UConn last night and lost. And they get 3 more outs here. They're playing them later on this afternoon into the early evening. And if they win that game, we got a winner-take-all game tomorrow morning back in the Big East Digital Network. They're watching from every corner of the Villanova softball complex today. I mean, look, the sun's out and it's a nice day, so it makes sense to watch on top of the parking garage. Why not?
Way closer to the sun. Get a tan in at this point.
I didn't check the UV levels before I came here, you know? Get a little sun in the booth. We're good. A little color on the skin. Never hurt anybody. Will checked her swing and fouled it off. 7-8-9 coming in the Creighton lineup here in the top of the 7th against Jessica Walter, who Gigi has had to navigate choppy waters the last couple of innings, but she's done really well out of the pen and kept Providence within that 1 run.
She stays composed, and that's why hitters want to hit off her because she's going to kind of give you something close to the zone, usually first pitch strike too.
Fighting that sun and making the catch. Duma at shortstop, 1 gone. Defensive subs here for Providence. Cameron Dunn has shifted to third. Peterson is now out of the game for Providence. She was playing third.
And that's coach being creative too, going to players like Julia Rennie, trusting her bat to kind of substitute Sophia Peterson, knowing we have to score in the 7th. Let's take Sophia Peterson out and let's put Julia Rennie in, see what she can do.
Yeah, Rennie now playing first, and we have seen a lot of changes, Gigi, in this game. And you gotta admire the guts, the confidence, the pressure that these players are dealing with. You got people subbing in and out defensively, at the plate, in the circle, season on the line.
Cameron Dunn going to third from first? Whole different view.
You get a few gray hairs playing a game like this. On cue, it's right to Dunn. Softball gods will find you. 2 gone.
She was ready for that. Cameron Dunn loves the assignment offensively and then defensively too, just staying level-headed. Now Providence has to hammer this home. It's different. Like I said, yeah, you want a cushion of being tied up in the 7th, but if they could go into the 7th right now, 3 up, 3 down, that's a confidence boost. And that's saying, all right, let's do it together as a team. It's meant to be. We have to score.
Barnard batted in Dalton's place earlier. Dalton bats again here. I want her defense, GG, in the field in the bottom of the 7th. Dalton had a home run robbery of the highest order earlier this week against St. John's.
That was one of the most awesome plays, and I told her that before the game. She was like, oh, really? You saw it? So humble.
This one not going to leave the park. There's room for Lee. And a lifeline for Providence. Their season comes down to this. Down by a run in the bottom of the 7th. Kenzie Chauffeur against one of the best offenses in the country, the Connecticut Huskies, held them to a couple of runs in the first 4 innings. Today she had to come in the 2nd inning, and in relief, she has been a master artist at work. But she's got to get 3 more outs without allowing a Providence run to get Creighton to UConn later on today. And a pinch hitter for Providence to start. And a catch! Pearson, hello! The Big East Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row! Again!
Pearson absolutely just trusting her read off the bat. She had to check her glove after this to make sure it was in. But you got to make plays like that if you want to win big titles, and she's so used to that. Making the big play. She's so in the moment right now.
2 outs to go. You know, we were talking yesterday, Gigi, about how softball teams work on not blinking and controlling their heart rate. I don't think Pearson blinked on that play at short. There's no time to blink on one like that.
There was no time to even breathe, I don't think. I will say, De La Fuente to come in, 33 at-bats only this season. And line drive, doing her job. Oh my God, great work, but even better defensive work from Pearson.
We have more defensive changes for Creighton. McCutcheon has now left second, and Kenzie Nakasawa, who appeared as a pinch hitter yesterday, is now playing second base. This bottom part of the Providence lineup has been good, trying to keep it going. 2-2.
Calm and collected. That's how Hannah Aldrich looks right now. She wants this moment. She wants to start things up. Yeah, that was 1 pitch, 1 out. Now, she's extending this at-bat to 4 pitches. All she has to do is stay alive.
Wing and a miss. Creighton 1 out away.
Chauffeur giving her no way of touching that ball. It was off the plate. It's off speed and down. Now Creighton is looking to just finish this one with 1 out left. Look at that pitch.
And it all comes down to Sophia Peterson. And if I'm a Friar fan, I'm cool with Sophia at the plate. She homered yesterday. She's doubled and singled today. Can she run into one to keep this Cinderella run alive? wrist foul down the line.
And you know when players foul over third base as a righty hitter, that means you're really going in there wanting to hit. You're just early on it. And that's how excited Peterson is to try and get on base. She's swinging a little bit early, so she needs to wait up a little bit, be wary of a changeup, and drive it up the middle.
Kenzie Schofer, nearly 80 pitches in relief. After throwing a whole bunch of pitches against UConn yesterday. She threw 78 yesterday. Here comes pitch 78 today. One strike away from seeing UConn again.
Schofer has so much command on the mound, and Peterson has a lot of discipline. She didn't like that one. I wouldn't be surprised if she just tries to foul a couple off and keep the season alive.
You gotta have guts to take that pitch.
Also, guts to throw it too. Schofer, that out-to-out combo even more. That was going for a strikeout.
In the air to center. It's over Dalton's head. Peterson for two. She's there. Providence has a pulse.
Peterson with the LeBron Selly after a double with 2 strikes to keep hopes alive for Providence. Now she has to pass the bat to the rest of her team. She slides in safely there.
I believe that was the LeBron silencer celebration. Someone clip it up and send it to him. A Providence team that started the season 0-9. A Providence team that finished under 500 in the Big East and just snuck into the tournament as the last 6th seed. And down to their last out. They have a runner in scoring position and a chance to keep this run going.
You never know what can happen in the postseason. This is so exciting. This is when you're Providence. You're down 1 run. You have a chance to win this, and you have a pinch hitter in Jonte in to trade places and just try and get one across the board. It's about tying things up right now. It's not about winning the game.
The biggest at-bat of the season for Emily Jonte, the junior from Allen, Texas.
And she hasn't seen Schofer pitch all day, so that's why she takes that first pitch. She knows what she's working with, and now she has to feed off anything that's close on the plate.
On the ground to Perez, the throw to first, and Creighton moves on. A chance for revenge against UConn awaits the Blue Jays. They're texting everybody back in Omaha and beyond. 5 o'clock FS2. Our women have got a chance to knock off UConn and make sure there's one more Big East.